Guys, Jon Favreau was interviewed at the Han Solo world premiere, and he gave us the best information yet about the coming live-action television series. This includes the time period that it's going to take place in, what kind of characters it'll focus on, and what kind of technology they're going to be using for the show. In this video, I'm going to break it all down, clarify some misquotes that are out there, and speculate about what I think it will mean for the show and Star Wars in general in the future. What is up, YouTube? It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds, and it's a Star Wars Sunday. I mean, you might be watching this at a later date, but it's released on Star Wars Sunday. It also happens to be Mother's Day, so shout out to all the moms out there, but definitely shout out to Kara Mursky, my mom, who is, if you didn't know, the best mom on the planet. In all seriousness, every good quality that I have comes from my mother. She is amazing. I am a very lucky dude. Thank you, Mom, if you're watching this. Happy Mother's Day to you. I just wish that I could be there hanging out with you today, but I'm just so busy right now. But I know you understand. So, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, especially mine, but all of them as well. All right, before we get into this, I need to shout out Kelsey, who got the nerd card question correct in my video about the Han Solo reviews from yesterday. So, shout out to you, Kelsey. We'll do another nerd card question at the end of this video. All right, everybody, you might have heard about this already, but Jon Favreau was interviewed on the red carpet for the Han Solo premiere. He was asked about his coming television series, and a lot of cool information actually came out of his mouth. Like, I'll be totally honest, this just seems way early in the game for him to be giving these types of answers, but it was so cool because you can tell he's so excited about the project. He was more than willing to talk about it. So within that stuff, there was some stuff that was said originally that needs clarification. Some people were misquoting what he said, and a lot of people were running around the internet, you know, and I get it. They want clicks, they want to be early, but there was some misinformation out there. So let's talk about the time period first. Now, it was originally reported that the show will take place 7 years after the Battle of Endor. But that's not true. It is actually going to take place 7 years after the Battle of Yavin. So it actually doesn't change too much. I mean, it's a little bit different. If you're like super hardcore and you're a nerd, I mean, it definitely matters. It's a couple of years after the Battle of Jakku rather than like 6 years after the Battle of Jakku. Mainly for me, this just means there'll still be a lot of Imperial remnants perhaps out there, a lot of Imperial sympathizers, and it will be just a couple of years into the journey of the Imperial remnant, which did go into the unknown regions. Now, I'm going to get back into like speculation about that in a second because the time period's so interesting. I think it maybe hints at some places we might go in the plot. But there are a couple of other things that Favreau talked about, mainly that the story will focus on a cast of all new characters. And I mean, this is cool for a number of different reasons. I mean, like, I don't really know if I need young Luke Skywalker and young Leia and stuff like that. So if they were going to do that, I don't know if I would be down. Plus, I mean, it's super cool to get new characters in Star Wars in general. So I'm glad that we're going to go new character stuff. Another thing that Favreau talked about is how the show is going to utilize the technology that he used in the Jungle Book and the coming Lion King. Now, this is super cool. I mean, it kind of makes me think we're going to be getting some alien type characters. I mean, doesn't that kind of compute to you guys? I mean, they're doing that mocap stuff. It definitely means that, but I'm going to get to speculation in just a bit. But it's so cool that they're going to use this kind of technology. Star Wars has actually had a couple of different shows in production, and mainly because George Lucas didn't feel that the technology was there, they actually pulled it back. So the fact that technology is caught up, now Disney has all the money in the world, and they've shown what they can do in the Jungle Book. That same type of technology will be at work for the show, so it should look absolutely beautiful. Some other sort of late additions to this story is the fact that Favreau said half of the scripts for season 1 are done, and that's freaking amazing. I mean, like I said, I think he was just emanating excitement. When he got this gig, which was probably way before it was announced, he immediately started to get to work with maybe a team of writers, But I think it's not just him writing. When he was quoted talking about the writing, he said, "You'll see some of my writing because I'm going to be working on, I've written half of the season for the new Star Wars show that I'm working on." So that's just incredible. I think Jon is going to allow a lot of different cooks in the kitchen, but at the end of the day, he's got a clear-cut vision for the type of show that he wants to do. I mean, and rightfully so. He's the name, he's the branding that they're trying to leverage. Dude is talented, he holds a lot of weight and respect in Hollywood right now, and he's Disney alum, so just makes total and complete sense to me. Now, I believe the plan here is for this show to launch with the streaming service. I think that makes the most sense, but we're not sure if it's going to be like a Netflix dump sort of a thing. Is it going to come out weekly? Is it going to be on that wheel cycle? Who knows? But either way, I'm incredibly excited. It was really cool to hear these things from Jon. Okay, so that is all the base level information out there. Now it's time to go to speculation town a little bit. So first, let's talk about this time period. To me, this hints at Disney having a plan to sort of fill in this time period that has been, till now, filled with complete mystery. Canon has really stayed away from the time period between Endor and The Force Awakens. This has been a time period that has not been explored fully. And to take that to another level, another one of the big criticisms of Lucasfilm right now is that they actually have no idea really what happened in that time period. The way that they go about things, by the way, is very different than the Marvel formula. The Marvel formula is really sort of restricted, and even though they let the directors and the writers tell their story, they really are strict about having it fit into the canon. And so getting something to fit in the canon is the hard part, and Disney does the exact opposite thing. They sort of allow the writers to have free reign, and then they take that story and they try to work canon around that story. Now, they're very early into this process. I think they're learning a lot. So perhaps this is a sign of them tightening that whole thing up. In my opinion, they really need to let the story group do a bigger job, like have more of a larger role in the production of these films. A show in and of itself allows for this time period to be filled out very, very well. I mean, first of all, it's going to sort of roll out. You're going to have one writer sort of taking long form. I mean, a show, especially a multiple season show, is really long form live action entertainment. And so we're going to get a lot of time to explore this time period in the galaxy. So I mean, good on Lucasfilm, right? That feels like the right move. This live action show, it's going to launch with your streaming service. It's also going to fill out the canon in the most mysterious part of the canon up till now. So who knows, like 2 or 3 years away from right now, we might be able to talk about that time period succinctly. We might be able to get really nerdy about it and call out things that happen on the show and how they reference other things that happen in books and movies. So I'm pumped about that personally. I'm really excited about that. I also think that it might hint to perhaps the rise of the First Order. And this sort of gets into the next bit of information, which is, of course, that technology that the show is going to utilize. To me, what better way to explain Snoke's rise to power and what is going on in the unknown regions, especially if there's a lot of aliens out there, than to use this sort of technology. So with the time period and the technology involved, I really believe that this could talk about the rise of the First Order. Now, I'm not saying it has to focus on the rise of the First Order, but I think peripherally, that is a story thread they should definitely touch on. However, it is possible that they completely focus on it. I mean, we're hearing about these leaks from episode 9. A lot of them have to do with the fact that the First Order and Snoke in particular was enslaving and disenfranchising a lot of different people in the unknown regions in order to give the known galaxy a large benefit. That might be a big theme that Disney wants to play on for a while, and what better way to nail that point home than to focus on a group of aliens that are literally having their world taken over by the First Order. So I don't know, that's kind of where my head goes. Plus, I mean, if you're going to be doing mocap, I mean, get the best in the game, get Andy Serkis, have him reprise his role as Snoke, a younger Snoke, very powerful, out in the unknown regions. I mean, I'm getting giddy just thinking about it. I think a lot of Star Wars fans would absolutely love that. I am very excited about all of this news, and the fact that Jon has written half of the first season, it blows my mind. I mean, I literally think this could be one of the best things in Star Wars, and as I've said many times, I'm just so excited about the talent that Disney is getting to create this stuff in the near future. So that's pretty much all the news and a little bit of speculation from me, guys. I really want to know what all of you think about this in the comment section below. Are you as excited as I am? Are you still skeptical about Favreau doing this for whatever reason? What do you think about the information? The fact that it's 7 years after Endor, the fact that it is going to focus on a whole new cast, and the fact that it is using that Jungle Book technology. What do you think about that? Alright, let's check that nerd card, see how much of a hardcore Star Wars fan you are. There was a famous live-action television Star Wars show in production by George Lucas. He actually had a ton of scripts for this thing. It was going to be his next big project, and of course, it fell apart because of the Disney purchase. But what was the name of that show? Answer that question in the comment section below. You can click below to watch more dope videos, and you can click our icon to subscribe to get all of our future content. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and nerdy day, and I will see you in the next video.